Hello, and I hope you're all okay. I am on my way down to the allotment. I'm walking down today, making the most out of the dry day. It's been absolutely pouring down for the last week, typical because it's half term as well. But we've been finding things to do, but it has been really terrible weather. It's been absolutely torrential rain, really cold, not warming up at all. It has stopped raining today. It's still cold. And it's still really muddy, as you can see. I mean, look at that. Absolutely waterlogged. But it is dry, as in it's not raining. So I'm going to make the most of it and spend some time at the plot this morning, getting a few things planted into the fruit cage. I'm going to try and prune some of the apple trees as well. And just get a few little jobs done that need to get done. Okay, so I'm coming up to my plot now. It's all looking great. I just love that, coming up to the plot, seeing it all looking good. It's actually my lucky day because the sun has come out. As soon as I got down here, as soon as I walked around that corner onto my plot, the sun came out and it is so nice. It's glorious. It's so nice to have the sun out. Okay, first things first, I'm going to get the 2 raspberry canes that I've got planted against the, I say trellis, the frame that Vince made last week. So I'm going to get those planted first. I've got my gooseberry and my currant. I could only carry so much, so I've got those that I've brought down and I'm going to get them planted. I am going to move one of the rhubarbs. So we were talking about it last week when we were doing the frame in this fruit cage. One of the rhubarbs that I originally planted is right in the corner of the fruit cage. So it does need to be moved. This is precious space in the fruit cage, so I'm going to get it moved, but it is looking really good. So that was the first thing I ever planted on this plot. I don't know if you remember, anyone that's been watching me since the beginning will know that it's the first thing I planted on the plot. I will link a video into the description because I was so excited to get the first like perennial, you know, something on the plot planted. It was so excited, and it is sad that I'm going to have to move it because it didn't do very well last year at all. It's looking really good now. So I'm going to have to find a place for that one. I'm going to leave the one outside of the fruit cage. So this one here, I'm just going to leave that one. Because if I step back, you can see it's right here. That's not in anything's way. So I'm quite happy for that one to just stay there, do its thing this year, and I'll move it when it's dormant possibly. The other one is going to be in the way, so I am going to move it. It's just a shame because it's doing so well. I'm going to try and take it out a really large amount of the soil around it so that it doesn't have its roots disturbed too much, hopefully. But I need to find a spot for it. Let's have a look. So I'm thinking possibly this area here. So I've got my comfrey here, the apple tree, which I'm going to prune a bit of that today. So I'm thinking this space here is quite like a wasted space. Last year the pumpkins just overspilled the beds and they sort of like grew over that area, but that's not really a problem. They can overspread anyway. You can sort of guide that. So I think I'm going to put it there. I think I'm going to dig it up and pop it there. I'll try and get as much of the roots and everything as I can to try not to disturb it as much, so fingers crossed it goes well. Okay, I'm really pleased with that. I got quite a lot of the actual root ball and it's all sort of in one mass, so I'm really pleased with that. I'm going to get that planted straight away. Okay, so I've got my hole here. I'm going to pop in a little bit of farmyard manure. I'm going to make sure I don't plant it too low. So the crown is nice and high. I think that's about right. I think that'll be fine. Just some nice farmyard manure around it. And then I'll just backfill that and just pray and hope that it's okay, because it is looking so good compared to last year. It must have finally got settled and now I'm moving it up. That is what us gardeners do, isn't it? And what I'm going to do, I just took that cloche off of it, just these small ones, but just while I've just planted it, I will just pop that back on top, just to give it a bit of protection from any birds that feel like coming or anything else. And then it's going to rain later on today, obviously, so it'll get a good water then, so I won't water it now. The ground is quite wet anyway. So I'll just pop that on top. So that's my first little job done. Now I need to actually get things planted in the fruit cage. Okay, so I'm going to put these 2 raspberry canes in the middle of this structure. I have got some raspberry canes growing at home, so when they come up I may actually split them or move them down here, but for the time being I'm just going to put 2. I'm going to put them to one side, and then I have got room to add an E if I need to. I've probably got room for 3 or 4 on this one here, so I'll put 2 in, and if I've got more I can add them, if not I won't. Okay, so that is 2 raspberry canes planted. I've got room for more if I've got more from my garden, or I could always pick up some more if the ones in my garden aren't enough to split, or you know, when the shoots come up, the canes come up and there's just loads of them. So that was my thinking, but we'll see what happens when they start to come up. One of these is starting to emerge already, so it's starting to show some growth. The other one hasn't, but I've got 2 more things to plant in here. I've got the gooseberry and I've got a currant, so I need to work out where I'm going to put them, because this is what happens when I make any plans, I change them. So I don't know if anyone else is like that and does that, and that is my question of the day today. What do you do when you plan a new bed, or you're planning you're going to plant something, you're planning you're going to do something in your garden, and then you start doing it and you change your mind, and then it ends up completely different to the first thing that you thought it was going to be? How does everyone else do it? Is everyone else like me and just changes their mind throughout every single project? I think the gooseberry and the currant I'm actually going to put where the rhubarb was, where I've got the strawberries at the moment. That's the beauty of the strawberry beds that I've got, you can just move them. So remember, I've also got 3 black cascade dwarf blackberries that are going to go in one of these planters, and I've got strawberries that are currently in my asparagus bed that's going to go in the other planter. So I'm going to have those 3. Thinking of actually having just a row of those, just the planters in a row along here, possibly. That's my thinking at the moment. And then having my gooseberry and my currant here, and potentially another row of raspberries or something else. I've got the 2 blueberries that are going to come in here as well, but they can be moved around as well because they're going to be in containers. So it's just a case of thinking, what do I actually want in here? I don't want to overdo one type of fruit. I want to have a bit of a mixture, so I don't really want to put another row of raspberries, but I'm thinking another row of something like that. So any ideas? What would anyone else plant in here? That has really worn me out. Moving those, one of them was completely full, the strawberry one I planted last week, so that was really full, but I think that's a really good use of space. So it just runs right the way along. I've already got strawberries in here, I'm going to put more strawberries in here, I'm going to put the black cascade blackberries in there. They're dwarf ones, but they're really, really good, so I'm going to put them in there, all 3 of them, and then more strawberries here, so that I'm really happy with that now. I'm going to put my gooseberry here, my currant here, and then I definitely have got room for something else, I think, but I don't think I want any more raspberries. I have got raspberries at home as well, and I want to think about what I want in here, but for the time being I'm going to get the gooseberry and the currant planted. So this currant has got quite a lot of weeds on the top. It's got really good root system, which is brilliant, but I'm just going to take these weeds off. What's growing on there. This was in the bargain corner of the garden centre, and it was like, I think I paid like £3 for it instead of like a tenner or something. So I don't know how long it's been in this pot, but I'm definitely going to take all of this off and then get that planted as well. Okay, so that is my gooseberry, my currant, right behind me planted, and then the other side I've now got the 2 raspberry canes planted as well. I'm going to add to all of this, but at the moment I'm just doing it as I get it, and I want a variety. I want loads of different things in there, so any ideas, please let me know. I also just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone that does watch me. On my statistics, it does actually say that most of my viewers aren't actually subscribed to my channel, so if you could just take a moment, if you do like watching me and you do like my channel, just to hit subscribe, it would mean so much to me. I'd be so appreciative. Otherwise, give it a like and comment, even if it's just a thumbs up, it means so much to me. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you again soon.